been an enormous hit. You've already been nominated for multiple awards. You won the Critics' Choice. This was the biggest debut of a show on CBS in 5 years. So, first of all, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about, Kathy, maybe you could kick us off. Tell us about the first meeting you both had when this came up and why you wanted to play this role when you first talked to Jenny.
You go. Well, when I originally pitched it, you always say to the studio and network, imagine somebody fabulous. So I said, imagine Kathy Bates. And I'm still shocked that I get to work with Kathy Bates. And we met. She said she liked the script and wanted to meet. And everybody sent me out there and said, do a great job, win her over. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And when I went to the restaurant, met Kathy, and she said to me right away, I love this script. I wouldn't change a word. Let's talk about the work. And my whole body relaxed, because that's the language I know how to talk about, and we just started a creative conversation that I think has not stopped since.
Yeah, the big moment for me was when you said, what don't you like about working? And I don't think anybody had ever asked me that in 50 years of being in this business, and so we were able to discuss, a couple of things that I needed, and one of them was, please don't abandon me, because I think as actors, we, especially when we're working, people are over by the video watching everything, and you're out on the set, and it feels like you're separated from everybody, and it's not a good feeling. You really want to be part of a team. I know when I've directed before, I like to have an apple box right under the camera. I don't want to be looking through a video where I can't really see people's expressions. But people don't do that anymore. And sometimes if the cameras are moving, you can't. And Jenny's always been so encouraging, and as I've gotten to get to know her, you really love lifting people up, and you've got an eye for talent, and you bring people up and give them a boost, and you're awesome. I've never met anybody like you.
That's so lovely. I did want to ask, what was it about Matlock for you, Kathy? What did it mean to you to step into that name, that legacy? And how did you talk about honoring the name with the show?
I think you can best answer that, I think.
Yeah, and we talked about wanting to create something new, but pay homage to the old in terms of having a folksy lawyer at the center and nod to it a few times. I always, when adapting something, don't want to remake it, because that piece of art exists, and why would we do something that was the same? So we were really trying to capture the spirit while doing an original show. And the moments that we picked to play the music, or when Kathy's in a dream sequence in the suit, were being more overt, but really it's sort of approaching the law with a folksy eye towards people and connection, and figuring out what's important to people and connecting that way.
I really related to the character. As an actor, I got excited about playing a woman who really had a double life. And when I read the first episode, the pilot, what I loved about it was that it was not your regular episodic show, crime show, legal show. That the twist at the end gives it substance, and it's something that it's about an epidemic that very few people really, I think, understood about how it developed in this country and the impact it has. I think that the other thing is that when there's an issue like that, it's easy to look at it as a group, hundreds, thousands, whatever. And when you talk about it being one person, one daughter, how it affected one family, it personalizes it in a way, and it drives Maddie through the season is that she wants to find the person responsible for hiding documents that might have helped at least slow down this epidemic, and cause she wants to call attention to it, and as well as punish the people that she thinks were. So all of that was so exciting to me. And also, let's face it, a woman who's going to be 77 in June is not offered these kinds of roles. You know? I mean, I'm really glad that they decided not to make it Matlock's granddaughter. You know?
That would not have been the same at all, and I'm so glad too. Can I also, you mentioned the opioid crisis, you mentioned age. Jenny, you had seen Dope Sick, you had done a lot of research into the opioid crisis. You address that crisis, you address ageism, you address societal issues in the case of The Week. Can you talk about knowing that you wanted to set out with Kathy to air some of those issues?
Yeah, you know, it's about looking at the world and then looking at the big issues and then making them really small and specific. Like you were saying, you know, every single person is the whole world to their family, to their, you know, so all, you know, and I always think, I have a friend who lost a son, and I don't know, you know, that how you recover from that and how you learn to rebuild a life. And I think, you know, it was combining that, what we wanted to say socially, with also just looking at grief and how we move on, and how this woman is finding new ways to parent her daughter because she feels like she let her down in some way. And that's all about the weight we put on ourselves as women in the world, and what can we do and what's too much. So I wanted like all of that to be in this character, that she's trying to do something that she thinks is very noble, and she's not even aware of all the layers at which she needs this. And through the course of the season, she realizes what it's giving her as well, and it becomes her addiction in a lot of ways too. And we talk about addiction in a lot of different lights. And you know, I have Kathy, so I just keep writing layers and layers and layers, and she plays them all. So.
Thank you. I wanted to also say there was a comment on the Reddit board about last week's episode that
I
had.
love that you read the Reddit board.
So my niece is, you know, I'm not allowed to be on Instagram or Reddit or anything else, because she knows me that if I, you know, see a gazillion wonderful things, then I'll see one negative thing, and that's what I'll pick up on. Although I hear that that's very human. So it makes me feel better. But the one that she read was there was a woman who was on a jury, and last week's episode had to do with a woman who had been on a jury and who was bullied so much that she ended up caving when the man really was innocent, had been in prison for 21 years. And so she was coming to see if we could help. And this woman on the Reddit board said it really hit her hard because she had the same experience of being on a jury like that. So as a result of that, when she goes in to be called for jury duty, she explains that and they don't take her.
That's incredible.